Hi, I'm Jim Grouch, and I'm an engineer that specialises in mathematical modelling and simulation of complex processes and systems. And in this series, How Things Work, I'm taking an engineering and simulation analysis approach to the study of how society works. Is our society what we want it to be, and how could it be changed? After all, it is our society. And in previous videos, I've been talking about some of the engineering principles and how they may be applied to think about human behaviour and society. And in this video, I want to discuss the concept of creep deformation, as it's a principle that applies to the permanent distortion of a metal and the irreversible shifting of the thinking of people. So first, most of us tend to think of metal, steel in particular, as being rigid, strong, reliable. And we understand that even if you lean on something as strong as steel to bend it a bit, it will probably spring back like a spring. And this may be most people's experience with steel structures, etc. But this experience is limited to the observational use of things made to suitable designs for their purpose and used within the proper design range. And this concept of something being suitable for use within its design range is something we should come back to, particularly in respect to consideration of national power distribution grids and big storms and things collapsing, etc. The question has to be, what was it designed for? What were the grades of steel that were required? Did the forces exceed the design limits? If they didn't exceed the design limits, how did the design process and fabrication go wrong? And if they did exceed the design limits, then are the design parameters correct? Yeah, it's another topic in itself. Okay. But in any case, the point is, design is not as simple as it may seem. And I guess a good example, a very graphic one, of how things that are inappropriately designed will fail, whether they're mechanical structures or the workings of government in a society. One of the first things I was shown in my first year of engineering was the video of the Tacoma Narrows Bridge collapse. And you can look for this. You just search Tacoma Narrows Bridge collapse, find the video. It's a spectacular sequence showing a bridge, a steel-structured bridge, twisting because of the side forces from wind, and eventually it just twists itself to bits and collapses. Okay, but let's get back to creep deformation. Creep deformation is the irreversible deformation from an initial position achieved through a steady application of a force that results in an internal and invisible rearrangement of the internal structure. Well, at least that's my definition for now. You can search and find other definitions, but that's the general principle. So, without measurement, in other words, by removing any way of measuring an initial reference point and the current point, application of a steady and relentless barrage of propaganda, whether by marketers or lobbyists, or the perception can be shifted from the current norm to something else. And so we have the terms of creepy behaviour and the perversion of justice, etc. So we use the word creep to describe someone whom we suspect but cannot prove is shifting perception to a new position for their own purpose, while trying to make others think that the new situation is really just normal or is okay for them. So, creepiness can also occur in the perversion of the functioning of the stock market through slow or selective reporting to mates and changes that make it harder for the ordinary shareholder to know what is happening, which are basic. The basic principle of the free market is that everybody is well informed and able to make rational decisions. So, how do we deal with creepiness? Well, in Australia, we have a special mechanism to deal with creeps, and if we suspect there's serious creepy behaviour that is unacceptable to our community, we have a Royal Commission. And our Royal Commissions make it easier for us to form an opinion if behaviour is creepy. And even if no convictions result, creeps in power are open to judgment by the people as facts are sought that the government does not want to ask or does not ask, and that we do not have the ability to ask. And so I guess there may not be a conviction in the legal sense, but we're all judged by history. So creepiness in the press, in marketing and lobbyists and sector representatives, or any other name they may wish to call themselves, has to be considered in the modelling of how our society works. And creepiness in particular in the highest offices of public service needs particular consideration. So that's all for now. I hope you come back later for some more videos on this project to understand and model how society works.